Welcome to Wisdom Audiobooks. Have you ever felt the sting of disrespect, as if your worth was being dismissed by someone who didn't care? How do we rise above such moments without losing ourselves in the process? This audiobook will guide you through understanding human nature, mastering communication, and building a life filled with peace, happiness, and success, where respect is mutual and boundaries are clear. Introduction. Before getting you into detailed content, I want to start by asking you 3 important questions. 1. Have you ever felt drained or hurt because someone treated you poorly, yet you didn't know how to respond? 2. Do you fear that standing up for yourself might damage relationships or escalate conflicts? 3. Are you searching for practical ways to protect your dignity while maintaining grace under pressure? If any of these resonate with you, then this audiobook is exactly what you need right now. I understand how hard it can be when people don't treat us with the respect we deserve. It's frustrating, disheartening, and sometimes even paralyzing. But here's the truth: you have the power to change how these situations affect you. And today, I'm going to show you how. The audiobook, 10 Ways to Handle People Who Don't Respect You, is written and published by Wisdom Audiobooks. This audiobook will equip you with actionable strategies to deal with disrespectful behavior effectively. You'll learn how to set boundaries, communicate assertively, and focus on those who truly matter in your life. By applying these lessons, you'll not only gain deeper insight into human nature but also create a life filled with balance, fulfillment, and joy. So stay tuned until the end, because every chapter holds valuable wisdom designed to transform your perspective and enhance your daily interactions. Your wisdom journey starts here. Chapter 1. Recognizing Disrespectful Behavior. In this first chapter, we're going to dive into the foundational step of handling people who don't respect you: recognizing disrespectful behavior. Before you can address an issue, you must first identify it clearly. As the great philosopher Aristotle once said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." Similarly, understanding what disrespect looks like is the first step toward reclaiming your peace and dignity. In this chapter, we'll explore the common signs of disrespect, its negative impact on your life, and how to determine whether someone is truly crossing your boundaries. Let's begin. 1. Common signs of disrespectful behavior. Disrespect often manifests in subtle ways that can be easy to overlook, especially if you're unsure what to look for. Here are some telltale signs that someone may not be treating you with the respect you deserve. 1. Verbal aggression or condescension. This includes sarcasm, mocking tones, or dismissive language. For example, phrases like, "You wouldn't understand," or "That's just typical of you," are thinly veiled attempts to belittle your intelligence or abilities. The renowned author Maya Angelou wisely observed, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." When someone speaks to you in a way that undermines your confidence, they are not respecting you, and now you know better. 2. Ignoring your input or feelings. If someone consistently interrupts you mid-sentence, brushes off your opinions, or acts as though your emotions don't matter, this is a red flag. Imagine sharing something deeply personal only to receive silence or indifference in return. This kind of neglect can leave you feeling invisible and unvalued. 3. Deliberate attempts to undermine you. Some individuals go out of their way to sabotage your efforts or make you feel inferior. Perhaps they criticize your work unfairly, take credit for your ideas, or spread rumors about you. These actions aren't just hurtful, they're toxic. As leadership expert John C. Maxwell puts it, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." Someone who disrespects you isn't leading, they're tearing down. By paying attention to these behaviors, you'll start noticing patterns that reveal whether someone is genuinely being disrespectful, or if it's simply a misunderstanding. 2. The negative impact of disrespectful behavior. Now that we've identified the signs, let's talk about why recognizing them matters so much. Disrespect doesn't just affect your mood in the moment. It has far-reaching consequences that ripple through every area of your life. Emotional toll. Being disrespected repeatedly chips away at your self-esteem. Over time, you might begin doubting your worth or questioning whether you deserve better treatment. Psychologist Carl Jung reminds us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. If you ignore disrespectful behavior, it becomes normalized, shaping how you view yourself and others. Strained relationships. Whether it's a coworker undermining you at work or a friend dismissing your feelings, disrespect creates tension and erodes trust. Left unchecked, it can lead to resentment and even the breakdown of relationships. Think about it. How long would you stay loyal to someone who constantly makes you feel small? Impact on productivity and well-being. When you're surrounded by negativity, your ability to focus and thrive diminishes. Studies show that chronic stress from toxic environments contributes to burnout, anxiety, and even physical health issues. Mahatma Gandhi famously stated, "The future depends on what you do today." Taking action against disrespect isn't just about protecting your ego. It's about safeguarding your overall well-being. Recognizing these effects empowers you to take control of your situation before it spirals further. 3. Determining who truly doesn't respect you. Not every instance of perceived disrespect requires drastic measures. Sometimes, misunderstandings happen, or cultural differences play a role. However, there are clear indicators that someone consistently fails to respect you. Consistency is key. One-off incidents might not necessarily indicate disrespect. But if someone repeatedly exhibits harmful behaviors, like interrupting you during meetings or making snide remarks, it's likely intentional. Ask yourself, does this person show a pattern of disregard for my boundaries and feelings? Assess the impact on your life. Consider how their behavior affects you emotionally, mentally, and physically. Are you losing sleep over their words? Do you dread interacting with them? If their actions significantly disrupt your peace, it's a sign that something needs to change. Trust your instincts. Deep down, you already know when someone isn't treating you right. Trust your gut. As Steve Jobs once said, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. If someone leaves you feeling drained or undervalued, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. Remember, identifying disrespectful behavior isn't about labeling people as good or bad. It's about protecting your energy and ensuring that those around you contribute positively to your life. Inspiring story: Rising Above Workplace Bullying. Let me share a brief story that illustrates the importance of recognizing disrespect early on. Sarah was a talented graphic designer working at a fast-paced advertising agency. At first, she loved her job, the creative challenges, the camaraderie among colleagues. But soon, she noticed something troubling. Her manager, Mark, began criticizing her work harshly in front of the team, often using phrases like, "This isn't up to standard," without offering constructive feedback. Worse still, he'd assign her tasks last minute, knowing she'd have to stay late to complete them. At first, Sarah brushed it off, thinking maybe she wasn't performing well enough. But over time, the constant negativity wore her down. She started doubting her skills and dreading each workday. One evening, after another grueling day, Sarah confided in a mentor outside the company. Her mentor listened patiently and then asked, "Does Mark treat everyone this way, or is it specifically directed at you?" That question made Sarah realize something crucial. Mark's behavior wasn't random, it was targeted. Armed with this clarity, Sarah decided to document every incident of disrespect, from unfair criticism to unreasonable deadlines. Eventually, she approached HR with her findings, which led to a formal investigation. While the process was challenging, it ultimately resulted in Mark being held accountable for his actions. More importantly, Sarah learned to recognize disrespect early on and advocate for herself, a lesson that served her well throughout her career. Today, she runs her own design studio, where mutual respect is non-negotiable. Stories like Sarah's remind us that awareness is power. By recognizing disrespectful behavior, you take the first step toward reclaiming your dignity. Closing thoughts for Chapter 1. To recap, recognizing disrespectful behavior involves spotting the signs, understanding its impact, and assessing whether someone is intentionally crossing your boundaries. Remember, knowledge is your greatest ally. As Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Educating yourself about disrespect is the first step toward creating meaningful change in your life. In the next chapter, we'll delve into building self-esteem and confidence, two essential tools for standing firm in the face of disrespect. Stay tuned, because the journey to empowerment continues. Chapter 2: Building Self-Esteem and Confidence. In this chapter, we're going to focus on one of the most powerful tools you can cultivate to handle disrespectful behavior: self-esteem and confidence. As Eleanor Roosevelt famously said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." When you truly believe in your worth, it becomes much harder for others to undermine you. In this chapter, we'll explore how to recognize your value, stop comparing yourself to others, and build daily habits that reinforce your self-worth. By the end of this chapter, you'll have actionable strategies to boost your confidence and protect your inner peace. Let's dive in. 1. Understanding your worth. The foundation of self-esteem lies in understanding your inherent value. You are worthy simply because you exist, not because of what you achieve or how others perceive you. Yet, many of us struggle to internalize this truth, especially when faced with disrespect. Start by acknowledging your strengths. Take a moment to reflect on your unique qualities. What are you good at? What contributions do you make to the world around you? Perhaps you're an excellent listener, a creative problem solver, or someone who always shows up for loved ones. These traits matter. To help you get started, try writing down 3 things you're proud of, whether it's completing a challenging project, supporting a friend during tough times, or simply getting through a difficult day. Seeing these accomplishments on paper can remind you of your capabilities. As author Brené Brown wisely notes, owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we'll ever do. Embracing your strengths isn't about arrogance. It's about acknowledging the gifts you bring to the table. Challenge negative self-talk. Low self-esteem often stems from harsh inner criticism. If you find yourself thinking, "I'm not smart enough," or "I don't deserve respect," pause and ask yourself, would I say this to a close friend? Chances are, you'd offer them kindness and encouragement instead. Treat yourself with the same compassion. One technique I recommend is reframing negative thoughts. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I failed at this task," rephrase it as, "This experience taught me valuable lessons." Over time, this practice rewires your brain to focus on growth rather than self-doubt. Celebrate small wins. Building self-esteem doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process fueled by consistent effort. Celebrate even the smallest victories along the way. Did you speak up for yourself today? That's progress. Did you set a boundary, no matter how small? That's courage. Each step forward reinforces your belief in your ability to navigate challenges. 2. Stopping the comparison trap. Comparison is the thief of joy, a phrase attributed to Theodore Roosevelt that rings true for so many of us. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring your life against others' highlight reels on social media or their seemingly perfect achievements. But here's the truth: everyone has struggles they don't share publicly. Why comparisons harm us? When you compare yourself to others, you diminish your own accomplishments and magnify perceived shortcomings. This mindset not only erodes your self-esteem but also distracts you from focusing on your unique path. Consider this analogy. Imagine 2 trees growing side by side. One grows tall and straight, while the other spreads wide with lush branches. Both are beautiful in their own ways, yet neither could thrive if forced to mimic the other. Similarly, your journey is distinct, and comparing it to someone else's only hinders your growth. Focus on your own progress. Instead of looking outward, turn your attention inward. Ask yourself, am I better today than I was yesterday? Have I taken steps toward my goals, however small? Focusing on personal improvement shifts your perspective from competition to collaboration with yourself. A powerful reminder comes from motivational speaker Zig Ziglar, who said, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." Every step you take toward becoming the best version of yourself is worth celebrating. 3. Building positive daily habits. Now that we've explored the importance of recognizing your worth and avoiding comparisons, let's talk about practical habits you can adopt to strengthen your self-esteem over time. Consistency is key. Small actions repeated daily create profound changes. Practice self-affirmations. Self-affirmations are positive statements that reinforce your beliefs about yourself. Start each morning by saying affirmations like, I am capable and resilient. My voice matters, and I deserve to be heard. I attract positivity and respect into my life. At first, these may feel awkward or insincere, but stick with it. Research shows that repeating affirmations activates neural pathways associated with self-worth, gradually making them feel more natural. Keep a gratitude journal. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. Each evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't need to be monumental. Perhaps it's a kind word from a colleague, a delicious meal, or simply the fact that you made it through the day. Psychologist Robert Emmons explains, grateful people experience higher levels of positive emotions such as joy, enthusiasm, love, happiness, and optimism. Cultivating gratitude not only boosts your mood but also strengthens your resilience in the face of adversity. Engage in activities that bring joy. Make time for hobbies or activities that light you up inside. Whether it's painting, hiking, reading, or dancing, doing something purely for pleasure reminds you of your humanity and creativity. It's a form of self-care that nourishes both your body and soul. Surround yourself with supportive people. The company you keep plays a significant role in shaping your self-perception. Seek out individuals who uplift and inspire you, those who celebrate your successes and encourage you during setbacks. Conversely, distance yourself from people who drain your energy or reinforce negative beliefs about yourself. As entrepreneur Jim Rohn famously stated, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely." 4. Embracing vulnerability as strength. One of the most transformative ways to build self-esteem is by embracing vulnerability. Many people mistakenly believe that showing vulnerability makes them weak, but in reality, it's quite the opposite. Brené Brown, a leading researcher on vulnerability and shame, explains, vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, whether by sharing your true feelings, admitting mistakes, or asking for help, you send a powerful message to yourself and others: I am enough. This act of authenticity fosters deeper connections with those around you and reinforces your sense of self-worth. For example, imagine a situation where someone has hurt your feelings. Instead of bottling up your emotions, consider expressing how their actions affected you. You might say something like, "When you interrupted me during the meeting, I felt dismissed and unvalued." While this may feel uncomfortable at first, it demonstrates strength and clarity. It also opens the door for meaningful dialogue and resolution. The power of owning your story. Owning your story means accepting all parts of yourself, the strengths, the flaws, the successes, and the failures. When you stop hiding behind perfectionism or fear of judgment, you free yourself from the weight of unrealistic expectations. As Brown puts it, imperfections are not inadequacies, they are reminders that we're all in this together. By embracing vulnerability, you cultivate resilience and deepen your connection to your authentic self. This, in turn, strengthens your ability to handle disrespect with grace and confidence. 5. Practicing self-compassion. Self-compassion is another cornerstone of healthy self-esteem. Dr. Kristin Neff, a pioneer in the study of self-compassion, defines it as treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a dear friend. Yet many of us are far harsher toward ourselves than we would ever be to others. 3 components of self-compassion. According to Dr. Neff, self-compassion consists of 3 key elements. 1. Self-kindness versus self-judgment. Instead of berating yourself for perceived shortcomings, practice gentle self-talk. For instance, if you make a mistake, remind yourself, "Everyone messes up sometimes. What can I learn from this?" 2. Common humanity versus isolation. Recognize that suffering and imperfection are universal experiences. you're not alone in feeling hurt or disrespected. This perspective helps you feel connected rather than isolated. 3. Mindfulness versus over-identification. Stay present with your emotions without letting them overwhelm you. Acknowledge pain or frustration without exaggerating its significance. Why self-compassion matters. Studies show that self-compassionate individuals tend to have higher levels of emotional resilience and lower rates of anxiety and depression. By treating yourself with care, you create a safe internal environment where self-esteem can flourish. Here's a simple exercise to practice self-compassion. The next time you face criticism or disrespect, place your hand over your heart and silently repeat phrases like, "This is a moment of suffering. Suffering is part of life. May I be kind to myself in this moment." These words may feel foreign at first, but over time, they'll become a source of comfort and strength. 6. Surrounding yourself with positivity. Your environment plays a crucial role in shaping your self-esteem. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, whether from toxic relationships, pessimistic media, or chaotic spaces, it becomes harder to maintain a positive self-image. Curate your inner circle. As mentioned earlier, the people you spend time with influence your mindset. Surround yourself with individuals who uplift and inspire you. These are the people who celebrate your wins, listen without judgment, and encourage you to grow. If there are people in your life who consistently undermine or disrespect you, it's important to set boundaries, or, in some cases, distance yourself entirely. Remember, protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's necessary for your well-being. Create a positive physical space. Your physical surroundings also impact your mood and confidence. Declutter your home or workspace, add plants or artwork that brings you joy, and incorporate calming scents like lavender or eucalyptus. A clean, inviting environment can boost your spirits and reinforce a sense of control over your life. Limit exposure to toxic media. Social media can be a double-edged sword. While it offers opportunities for connection and inspiration, it can also fuel comparison and insecurity. Be mindful of the accounts you follow and the content you consume. Unfollow pages that trigger negative emotions and seek out uplifting, educational, or motivational content instead. As author Louise Hay reminds us, every thought we think is creating our future. By curating a positive environment, you lay the groundwork for a brighter, more confident version of yourself. 7. Real-life inspiration, from doubt to confidence. Let me share a brief story that illustrates the power of building self-esteem and confidence. Meet Anna, a young woman who struggled with low self-esteem for most of her life. Growing up, she was often told she wasn't smart enough or talented enough. These messages stuck with her, shaping how she viewed herself well into adulthood. At work, she hesitated to speak up in meetings, fearing her ideas wouldn't be valued. In her personal life, she tolerated disrespectful behavior from friends and romantic partners because she didn't believe she deserved better. Everything changed when Anna stumbled upon a book about self-worth. Intrigued, she began exploring concepts like affirmations, gratitude, and boundary setting. She started small, writing down one thing she liked about herself each day and practicing saying no to minor requests. Slowly but surely, these efforts added up. One pivotal moment came when a colleague interrupted her during a team discussion. In the past, Anna would have stayed silent, assuming her input wasn't important. But this time, she calmly said, "I'd appreciate it if you let me finish my point." To her surprise, the room fell quiet, and her colleagues nodded in agreement. That moment marked a turning point for Anna. She realized that standing up for herself didn't alienate others, it earned their respect. Today, Anna is thriving. She's taken on leadership roles at work, nurtures healthy relationships, and radiates confidence. Her journey proves that self-esteem isn't something you're born with, it's something you build brick by brick. Closing thoughts for Chapter 2. To recap, building self-esteem and confidence requires recognizing your worth, stopping comparisons, and adopting daily habits that nurture your spirit. By embracing vulnerability, practicing self-compassion, and surrounding yourself with positivity, you create a strong foundation for handling disrespect with dignity and poise. As author Marianne Williamson beautifully states, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Believe in your power, dear listeners. You are capable of rising above any challenge. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to establish clear boundaries, a vital skill for protecting your peace and ensuring mutual respect in your relationships. Stay tuned, because the journey continues. Chapter 3: Setting Clear Boundaries. In this chapter, we're diving into one of the most empowering tools you can use to handle disrespectful behavior: setting clear boundaries. As author and therapist Dr. Henry Cloud wisely said, boundaries define us. They define what is me and what is not me. Without boundaries, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, disrespected, and taken advantage of. We'll explore the types of boundaries you need, how to set them effectively, and what to do when someone violates them. By the end of this chapter, you'll have actionable strategies to protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Let's begin. 1. Understanding the types of boundaries you need. Boundaries are like invisible fences that protect your physical, emotional, and mental space. They ensure that others treat you with respect while giving you the freedom to live authentically. Here are the 3 main types of boundaries you should establish. 1. Time boundaries. Your time is precious, and no one has the right to demand it without your consent. Time boundaries involve saying no to unnecessary commitments and prioritizing activities that align with your values and goals. For example, if a colleague repeatedly asks you to stay late for tasks that aren't urgent, it's okay to decline and explain that you need to maintain a healthy work-life balance. As productivity expert Stephen Covey reminds us, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Setting time boundaries ensures that your energy goes toward what truly matters, whether it's family, personal growth, or rest. 2. Emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries protect your feelings from being manipulated or dismissed by others. They involve recognizing when someone is projecting their issues onto you or expecting you to carry their emotional burdens. For instance, if a friend constantly vents to you without reciprocating support, it's important to set limits. You might say, I care about you, but I also need to take care of myself. Let's find a way to make these conversations more balanced. Author and psychologist Dr. Judith Orloff explains, emotional freedom means learning how to stop giving away your power. By setting emotional boundaries, you reclaim your power and create healthier relationships. 3. Material boundaries. Material boundaries pertain to your possessions and resources. Whether it's lending money, sharing belongings, or offering favors, you have every right to decide what you're comfortable giving, and what you're not. For example, if a family member frequently borrows your car without asking, it's perfectly reasonable to say, I'm happy to help, but I need advance notice so I can plan accordingly. Financial guru Dave Ramsey emphasizes, a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Similarly, material boundaries tell others how they can interact with your resources. By understanding these 3 types of boundaries, you gain clarity on where and how to draw the line in various aspects of your life. 2. How to set boundaries effectively. Now that we've identified the types of boundaries, let's discuss how to communicate them clearly and assertively. Setting boundaries isn't about being confrontational. It's about expressing your needs with kindness and firmness. 1. Use clear and respectful language. When setting a boundary, avoid vague statements like, I don't think this is working, or passive-aggressive remarks. Instead, be direct while maintaining respect. For example, instead of saying, you always interrupt me, try, I'd appreciate it if you let me finish speaking before responding. Instead of saying, stop borrowing my things without asking, try, please ask me first before using my belongings. I value my privacy. Clear communication minimizes misunderstandings and sets expectations up front. 2. Start small and build confidence. If you're new to setting boundaries, start with low-stakes situations. For instance, practice declining an invitation to an event you don't want to attend. Once you see that people generally respect your wishes, you'll feel more confident addressing bigger issues. Remember, setting boundaries is a skill, it improves with practice. Don't be discouraged if it feels awkward at first. Over time, it will become second nature. 3. Be consistent. Consistency is crucial when establishing boundaries. If you allow exceptions too often, others may assume your boundaries are negotiable. For example, if you've told a coworker that you won't answer emails after 6 p.m., stick to that rule, even if they occasionally plead for an exception. As leadership expert John Maxwell advises, small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. The same principle applies to boundary setting. 4. Anticipate resistance. Not everyone will respond positively to your boundaries, especially if they're accustomed to taking advantage of your generosity. Some may react defensively or accuse you of being selfish. Stay calm and reiterate your position firmly. For example, if someone says, "Why are you being so difficult?" respond with, "I'm simply asking for mutual respect. This boundary helps me maintain my well-being." By staying composed, you demonstrate that your boundaries are non-negotiable. 3. What to do when boundaries are violated. Even with clear communication, there may be times when someone crosses your boundaries. Knowing how to respond in these situations is essential for maintaining your peace and dignity. 1. Address the violation immediately. Ignoring a boundary violation sends the message that it's acceptable behavior. Instead, address it promptly and calmly. For example, if a neighbor parks in your driveway despite your request not to, approach them and say, "I noticed your car in my driveway again. As I mentioned earlier, I need this space for my own vehicle. Please park elsewhere moving forward." Timely intervention prevents the behavior from becoming a recurring issue. 2. Reinforce your boundary firmly. Sometimes, people test boundaries to see if you're serious. In such cases, reinforce your stance without wavering. For instance, if a friend continues to call you late at night despite your stated preference for no calls after 9 p.m., remind them, "I've asked you not to call me after 9 p.m. because I need uninterrupted rest. If this happens again, I'll have to silence my phone during those hours." Consistency reinforces the message that your boundaries are non-negotiable. 3. Escalate if necessary. If someone repeatedly violates your boundaries despite repeated reminders, it may be time to escalate the situation. This could involve involving a third party, such as HR at work, or limiting contact with the person altogether. For example, if a roommate consistently ignores your requests to clean up shared spaces, consider drafting a written agreement outlining household responsibilities, or finding alternative living arrangements. As relationship expert Esther Pearl notes, boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. Protecting your boundaries isn't selfish, it's an act of self-love. 4. Practice self-care afterward. Dealing with boundary violations can be emotionally draining. After addressing the issue, take time to recharge. Engage in activities that bring you comfort, such as journaling, meditating, or spending time in nature. Remind yourself that standing up for your needs is a sign of strength, not weakness. 4. Real-life example, standing firm in personal boundaries. Let me share a powerful story that illustrates the importance of setting and enforcing boundaries. A story about Maria, a young professional who learned to reclaim her peace by standing firm. Maria worked as a marketing manager at a fast-paced startup. Her boss, David, was known for his high expectations and demanding nature. At first, Maria admired his drive and wanted to prove herself. However, over time, she noticed that David began calling her late at night and sending emails well past midnight, expecting immediate responses. At first, Maria complied, believing it was part of excelling in her role. But soon, the constant interruptions took a toll on her mental health. She found herself exhausted, irritable, and unable to focus during the day. One evening, after receiving yet another late-night email, Maria realized something had to change. She decided to set a boundary. The next morning, she approached David and said, "I want to be fully present and effective in my role, which requires adequate rest. Moving forward, I'll respond to emails only during working hours unless it's an emergency." David's initial reaction was defensive. He replied, "But what if something urgent comes up?" Maria calmly responded, "If it's truly urgent, you can call me directly. Otherwise, I'll address emails during business hours." For the first few weeks, David tested Maria's boundary by sending occasional late-night messages. But Maria stayed consistent. She didn't reply until the next morning. Eventually, David adapted to her new routine, and their working relationship improved. Not only did Maria regain her energy, but she also earned David's respect for her professionalism. This story highlights two key lessons. 1. Setting boundaries isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about fostering healthier dynamics in your relationships. 2. Consistency is crucial. People may push back initially, but they'll adjust when they realize your boundaries are non-negotiable. As Maria discovered, standing firm in your boundaries doesn't make you difficult. It makes you someone who values themselves enough to protect their well-being. 5. Overcoming guilt when setting boundaries. One of the biggest obstacles people face when setting boundaries is guilt. Many worry that saying no or asserting their needs will make them seem selfish or unkind. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Healthy boundaries actually enhance relationships by creating mutual respect and understanding. Why guilt arises? Guilt often stems from societal conditioning or fear of rejection. From a young age, we're taught to prioritize others' needs over our own. While kindness is admirable, sacrificing your well-being to please others ultimately harms both parties. As author Dr. Nicole Lepra explains, self-care is not selfish. It is essential for sustainable giving. How to overcome guilt. Here are 3 strategies to help you overcome guilt when setting boundaries. 1. Reframe your perspective. Instead of viewing boundaries as restrictive, see them as acts of self-respect and care. Remind yourself that you're not rejecting others, you're simply honoring your limits. 2. Focus on mutual benefit. Boundaries benefit everyone involved. For example, if you decline an invitation because you need rest, you'll show up more energized and present the next time you connect with that person. 3. Practice self-compassion. If guilt arises, remind yourself that you're doing the best you can. Use affirmations like, "I deserve to prioritize my well-being," or, "Setting boundaries is an act of love for myself and others." By reframing guilt as a sign of growth rather than failure, you empower yourself to maintain healthy boundaries without apology. 6. Long-term benefits of setting boundaries. Setting boundaries isn't just a short-term solution, it's a lifelong practice with profound benefits. Here's how establishing clear boundaries can transform your life over time. 1. Increased confidence. Every time you assert your needs and see others respect them, your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself and your ability to navigate challenging situations. 2. Improved relationships. Boundaries create clarity and prevent resentment. When others know where you stand, they're less likely to unintentionally cross lines. This fosters deeper, more authentic connections based on mutual respect. 3. Enhanced emotional well-being. By protecting your time, energy, and emotions, you reduce stress and burnout. You create space for joy, creativity, and fulfillment. 4. Greater sense of control. Life feels chaotic when you allow others to dictate your actions and priorities. Boundaries give you agency over your choices, empowering you to live intentionally. As author Anne Catherine writes in Boundaries, "Where you end and I begin." Boundaries bring order to your life. They define what is yours and what is not yours. By embracing boundaries, you take ownership of your life and pave the way for lasting happiness. Closing thoughts for Chapter 3. To recap, setting clear boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to protect your peace and ensure mutual respect in your relationships. By understanding the types of boundaries, communicating them effectively, and addressing violations firmly, you create a foundation for healthier interactions. Remember, boundaries aren't barriers, they're bridges to better relationships, greater self-respect, and a more fulfilling life. As author Brené Brown reminds us, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others. Chapter 4. Mastering Effective Communication. In this chapter, we're diving into one of the most essential skills for handling disrespectful behavior: effective communication. As George Bernard Shaw once said, "The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place." Misunderstandings often escalate conflicts and leave us feeling unheard or disrespected. We'll explore the principles of effective communication, how to express your thoughts clearly and assertively, and strategies for managing difficult reactions from others. By the end of this chapter, you'll have practical tools to navigate challenging conversations with confidence and poise. Let's begin. 1. Fundamental principles of effective communication. Effective communication is the cornerstone of healthy relationships, whether personal or professional. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it, and how well you listen. Here are 3 fundamental principles to keep in mind. 1. Active listening. Listening is just as important as speaking when it comes to resolving conflicts. Active listening means giving the other person your full attention, without interrupting, judging, or planning your response while they're talking. For example, if someone expresses frustration with you, resist the urge to defend yourself immediately. Instead, acknowledge their feelings by saying, "I hear that you're upset, and I want to understand where you're coming from." This simple act can de-escalate tension and open the door for productive dialogue. As leadership expert Stephen R. Covey advises, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." When you prioritize understanding others, they're more likely to reciprocate and listen to your perspective. 2. Avoid criticism and blame. Criticism and blame only fuel defensiveness and shut down communication. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try framing your concern as an observation. "I've noticed that sometimes my input doesn't seem to be acknowledged, and it makes me feel undervalued." This approach focuses on the behavior rather than attacking the person, making it easier for them to engage in a constructive conversation. 3. Stay calm and objective. Emotions can cloud judgment and lead to regrettable words or actions. If you find yourself getting angry or upset during a conversation, take a deep breath and pause before responding. This gives you time to collect your thoughts and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. As mindfulness expert John Kabat-Zinn reminds us, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Managing your emotions allows you to navigate difficult conversations with grace and clarity. 2. How to express your thoughts clearly and assertively. Once you've mastered the fundamentals of effective communication, the next step is learning how to express your thoughts in a way that's clear, respectful, and assertive. Assertiveness isn't about being aggressive. It's about standing up for yourself while maintaining respect for others. 1. Use I statements. One of the most powerful tools for assertive communication is using I statements. These statements focus on your feelings and experiences rather than accusing or blaming the other person. For example, instead of saying, "You always ignore me," try, "I feel ignored when my ideas aren't acknowledged." Instead of saying, "You're so rude," try, "I feel hurt when you speak to me in that tone." I statements reduce defensiveness and encourage the other person to see things from your perspective. 2. Be specific and direct. Vague language can lead to misunderstandings. When expressing your thoughts, be specific about what you're asking for or addressing. For instance, instead of saying, "You need to be more considerate," specify what consideration looks like. "It would mean a lot to me if you could check with me before making plans that involve my time." Clarity ensures that both parties are on the same page and minimizes the risk of misinterpretation. 3. Practice nonverbal communication. Your body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions play a significant role in how your message is received. Maintain eye contact, use open gestures, and speak in a calm, steady tone to convey confidence and sincerity. For example, imagine you're discussing a sensitive topic with a colleague. If you cross your arms and avoid eye contact, they may perceive you as defensive or unapproachable, even if your words are neutral. On the other hand, leaning slightly forward and nodding occasionally signals attentiveness and openness. As communication expert Dr. Albert Mehrabian famously noted, 7% of communication is verbal, 38% is tonal, and 55% is nonverbal. Paying attention to these elements enhances the impact of your message. 4. Offer solutions, not just complaints. When addressing an issue, propose actionable solutions rather than simply pointing out problems. For example, if a team member consistently misses deadlines, instead of saying, "You're always late," suggest, "Let's create a timeline together to ensure tasks are completed on schedule." Offering solutions demonstrates initiative and fosters collaboration, making it easier for others to work with you. 3. Handling negative reactions gracefully. Even with the best intentions, difficult conversations can trigger negative reactions such as anger, defensiveness, or withdrawal. Knowing how to handle these reactions is key to maintaining productive dialogue. 1. Stay calm under pressure. If the other person becomes upset or raises their voice, resist the urge to match their energy. Instead, remain calm and composed. You might say, "I understand this is frustrating, and I'm here to work through it together." Your calm demeanor can help diffuse tension and steer the conversation back on track. As conflict resolution expert Kenneth Cloak explains, conflict is inevitable, but combat is optional. Choosing not to engage in hostility sets a positive tone for resolving disagreements. 2. Validate their feelings. Acknowledging the other person's emotions shows empathy and helps them feel heard. For example, if someone says, "You don't care about my opinion," respond with, "I can see why you'd feel that way, and I truly value your input. Can we talk about how we can improve our communication?" Validation doesn't mean agreeing with everything they say. It means recognizing their perspective and creating space for mutual understanding. 3. Redirect the focus to solutions. When emotions run high, it's easy to get stuck in a cycle of blame or negativity. Gently redirect the conversation toward finding solutions. For instance, if a friend says, "You never make time for me," respond with, "I appreciate you sharing this. What can we do to ensure we spend quality time together moving forward?" Focusing on solutions shifts the dynamic from confrontation to cooperation, fostering a sense of teamwork. 4. Know when to pause the conversation. Sometimes, emotions become too heated to continue productively. In such cases, it's okay to suggest taking a break and revisiting the discussion later. You might say, "I think we both need some time to cool off. Let's revisit this tomorrow when we're ready to talk calmly." Taking a step back prevents escalation and allows both parties to approach the conversation with fresh perspectives. 4. Real-life example, turning conflict into connection. Let me share a story that demonstrates how mastering effective communication can transform conflict into connection. A story about Alex and his roommate, Sarah. Alex and Sarah had been roommates for over a year, and while they generally got along well, tensions began to rise when Sarah started hosting frequent gatherings at their apartment without consulting Alex. One evening, after returning home to find yet another impromptu party in full swing, Alex felt overwhelmed and frustrated. Instead of lashing out or retreating silently, Alex decided to address the issue using the principles of effective communication. The next morning, he approached Sarah calmly and said, "Hey Sarah, I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind. When you host gatherings without checking with me first, it makes me feel like my space and schedule aren't being respected." Sarah initially bristled, responding defensively, "But I didn't think it was a big deal. You're always busy anyway." Instead of reacting emotionally, Alex stayed composed and validated her perspective. "I understand that you enjoy having friends over, and I don't want to stop that. But I also need some quiet time to recharge, especially after work." Together, they brainstormed a solution. Sarah would give Alex advance notice before hosting gatherings, and Alex agreed to be more flexible if she accommodated his need for downtime. By focusing on mutual understanding and compromise, they turned a potential conflict into an opportunity to strengthen their living arrangement. This story highlights several key lessons. 1. Calmness creates clarity. By staying calm, Alex prevented the situation from escalating into a shouting match. 2. Validation fosters empathy. Acknowledging Sarah's intentions helped her feel heard and opened the door for collaboration. 3. Solutions build bridges. proposing actionable steps ensured that both parties felt respected and valued. As Alex discovered, effective communication isn't just about resolving conflicts, it's about deepening relationships through trust and understanding. 5. Practicing difficult conversations. Difficult conversations are an inevitable part of life, but they don't have to be daunting. With practice, you can develop the skills needed to navigate these moments with confidence. Here are 3 strategies to help you prepare for challenging discussions. 1. Script your key points ahead of time. Before entering a difficult conversation, jot down the main points you want to convey. This ensures you stay focused and articulate your thoughts clearly. For example, if you need to discuss disrespectful behavior with a colleague, outline what specific actions bothered you, how they made you feel, and what changes you'd like to see moving forward. 2. Anticipate their perspective. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and consider how they might respond. Are they likely to become defensive? Will they offer excuses or explanations? Thinking ahead allows you to plan how to address their reactions constructively. For instance, if you suspect someone might deny responsibility, you could say, "I'm not here to assign blame, I just want us to work together to improve things." Framing the conversation as collaborative rather than confrontational reduces resistance. 3. Practice active reflection. After the conversation, take a moment to reflect on what went well and what could be improved. Did you listen actively? Were you clear and assertive? What did you learn about the other person's perspective? Reflecting helps you refine your communication skills over time. As author and speaker Simon Sinek reminds us, leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. Whether you're leading a team, managing a friendship, or navigating family dynamics, effective communication is the foundation of strong leadership. 6. Building confidence through communication. One of the most rewarding aspects of mastering effective communication is the boost it gives to your confidence. Every time you express yourself clearly, handle a tough conversation gracefully, or resolve a conflict peacefully, you reinforce your belief in your ability to navigate life's challenges. Here are 3 ways communication builds confidence. 1. It strengthens your voice. When you consistently communicate your needs and boundaries, others begin to recognize and respect your voice. Over time, this reinforces your sense of self-worth and empowers you to advocate for yourself in all areas of life. 2. It enhances emotional intelligence. Effective communication requires tuning into your emotions and those of others. As you hone this skill, you become better equipped to manage stress, build rapport, and foster meaningful connections. 3. It creates positive feedback loops. Successful communication often leads to positive outcomes, whether it's resolving a disagreement, strengthening a relationship, or achieving a shared goal. These successes motivate you to continue improving your communication skills, creating a cycle of growth and fulfillment. As author Brené Brown wisely notes, courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. By embracing effective communication, you step into your power and create opportunities for deeper connection and understanding. Closing thoughts for Chapter 4. To recap, mastering effective communication is a game changer when it comes to handling disrespectful behavior. By practicing active listening, expressing yourself assertively, and managing difficult reactions, you equip yourself with the tools needed to navigate even the toughest conversations. Remember, communication is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. As you implement these strategies, you'll notice a profound shift in your relationships and overall well-being. In the next chapter, we'll explore the transformative power of forgiveness and letting go, a vital step toward healing and moving forward. Chapter 5. The transformative power of forgiveness and letting go. In this chapter, we're exploring one of the most liberating practices you can embrace, forgiveness and letting go. As Nelson Mandela once said, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Holding on to grudges or past hurts only weighs you down, preventing you from living a life of peace and freedom. We'll discuss the benefits of forgiveness, how to practice it authentically, and why letting go of toxic relationships and emotions is essential for your growth. By the end of this chapter, you'll have actionable steps to release the burdens of the past and create space for joy and fulfillment. Let's dive in. 1. The benefits of forgiveness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as excusing someone's behavior or pretending that harm never occurred. In reality, forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the emotional chains of resentment and anger. It's a gift you give to yourself, not necessarily to the person who wronged you. 1. Emotional liberation. When you forgive, you release the negative emotions tied to a painful experience. This doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means choosing not to let it control your present or future. Studies show that forgiveness reduces stress, anxiety, and depression while increasing feelings of happiness and well-being. As psychologist Dr. Fred Luskin, author of Forgive for Good, explains, forgiveness is the experience of peace and understanding that can be felt when we let go of hurt and resentment. By forgiving, you reclaim your power and redirect your energy toward positive pursuits. 2. Improved relationships. Forgiveness fosters empathy and understanding, which can repair damaged relationships, or at least help you move on peacefully. Even if reconciliation isn't possible, forgiving someone allows you to interact with them without carrying bitterness. For example, imagine a friend betrayed your trust by sharing a secret. While you may choose to distance yourself from them, forgiving them internally helps you avoid harboring resentment, which could otherwise affect your ability to trust others in the future. 3. Physical health benefits. Holding on to anger and resentment takes a toll on your body. Chronic stress from unresolved conflicts can lead to high blood pressure, weakened immune function, and even heart disease. Conversely, forgiveness has been linked to lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and improved overall health. As the Dalai Lama wisely notes, forgiveness is the enemy of hatred and the ally of peace. By embracing forgiveness, you nurture both your mind and body. 2. How to practice forgiveness authentically. Forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable emotions. Here are 3 steps to guide you through the journey of forgiveness. 1. Acknowledge your pain. The first step toward forgiveness is recognizing and validating your feelings. Denying or suppressing your emotions only prolongs the healing process. Take time to sit with your pain and ask yourself, how did this situation affect me? What emotions am I still holding on to? Journaling can be a helpful tool during this stage. Write a letter, even if you don't send it, to the person who hurt you, expressing exactly how their actions impacted you. This exercise provides clarity and releases pent-up emotions. 2. Reframe the narrative. Once you've acknowledged your pain, shift your perspective by asking yourself, what lessons can I learn from this experience? How has it shaped me into a stronger, wiser person? For instance, if a romantic partner ended a relationship abruptly, you might reframe it as an opportunity to rediscover yourself and prioritize your needs. As author Louise Hay reminds us, every experience in your life was absolutely necessary for you to become who you are today. Reframing doesn't justify harmful behavior, it empowers you to find meaning in adversity. 3. Release the need for revenge or justice. One of the hardest parts of forgiveness is letting go of the desire for revenge or justice. You may feel entitled to see the other person pay for their actions, but clinging to this mindset keeps you tethered to the past. Instead, focus on creating a future filled with positivity and purpose. A powerful visualization technique is imagining yourself cutting ties with a person or situation. Picture a heavy chain falling away from your wrists, symbolizing your liberation. Repeat affirmations like, I release this burden. I am free. Remember, forgiveness isn't about condoning bad behavior, it's about choosing peace over punishment. 3. Letting go of toxic relationships. While forgiveness is crucial, it's equally important to recognize when a relationship has become irreparably toxic. Some people may repeatedly disrespect or harm you despite your efforts to address the issue. In such cases, letting go becomes necessary for your well-being. 1. Identify toxic patterns. Toxic relationships are characterized by manipulation, dishonesty, lack of reciprocity, and consistent disregard for your boundaries. Ask yourself, Does this person uplift and support me, or do they drain my energy and make me feel small? For example, if a family member constantly criticizes your choices or belittles your achievements, their behavior may stem from jealousy or insecurity, but that doesn't excuse its impact on you. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking free. 2. Set clear boundaries before walking away. If possible, communicate your decision to distance yourself clearly and calmly. For instance, you might say, "I value our relationship, but I need space to focus on my well-being. I hope we can reconnect in the future under healthier circumstances." However, if direct communication isn't safe or feasible, it's okay to set boundaries silently by limiting contact or cutting ties altogether. Your safety and mental health always come first. 3. Grieve the loss without regret. Letting go of a toxic relationship, even one with a loved one, can feel like grieving a loss. Allow yourself to feel sadness, anger, or disappointment without judgment. These emotions are natural and part of the healing process. Over time, replace regret with gratitude for the lessons learned. Perhaps the experience taught you the importance of setting boundaries, recognizing red flags, or prioritizing self-care. As author Cheryl Strayed writes in Tiny Beautiful Things, "Most things will be okay eventually, but not everything will be. Sometimes you'll put up with it all your life just to say you did. Choose what truly serves your soul." 4. Real-life example, the freedom of letting go. Let me share a story that illustrates the transformative power of forgiveness and letting go, a story about Emma, a woman who found peace after years of carrying resentment toward her father. Emma grew up in a household where her father was emotionally distant and often critical. As a child, she craved his approval but rarely received it. Over time, these experiences left deep scars, shaping her belief that she wasn't good enough. Even as an adult, Emma struggled with low self-esteem and trust issues in her personal relationships. For years, she held on to anger toward her father, replaying painful memories in her mind and blaming him for her struggles. But one day, while reading a book on forgiveness, Emma realized something profound. Her resentment wasn't hurting her father, it was hurting her. Determined to heal, she embarked on a journey of forgiveness. First, Emma acknowledged her pain by writing a heartfelt letter to her father. She poured out all her emotions, her sadness, frustration, and longing for connection. Though she never sent the letter, the act of putting her feelings into words brought immense relief. Next, Emma reframed her narrative. Instead of viewing her father's behavior as a reflection of her worth, she considered the possibility that his actions stemmed from his own insecurities and upbringing. This shift in perspective didn't excuse his behavior, but it helped her see him as human rather than monstrous. Finally, Emma decided to release the need for closure or apology. She accepted that her father might never change, and she chose to focus on building a fulfilling life for herself. Over time, she noticed a remarkable transformation. She felt lighter, freer, and more at peace. This story highlights several key lessons. 1. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself. By forgiving her father, Emma freed herself from the weight of resentment. 2. Reframing changes everything. Shifting her perspective allowed Emma to break free from limiting beliefs about her worth. 3. Letting go creates space for growth. Once Emma stopped dwelling on the past, she could invest her energy in creating a brighter future. As Emma discovered, forgiveness isn't about forgetting, it's about choosing to move forward with grace and strength. 5. Practical strategies for letting go. Letting go is easier said than done, especially when emotions run deep. Here are 3 practical strategies to help you release what no longer serves you. 1. Practice mindfulness and presence. Mindfulness teaches you to stay grounded in the present moment, reducing rumination about the past or anxiety about the future. Try this simple exercise. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and focus on the sensations in your body. Notice any tension or discomfort, and imagine breathing light and calmness into those areas. As mindfulness expert Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us, the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. By staying present, you prevent old wounds from hijacking your peace. 2. Create rituals of release. Rituals can provide a tangible way to symbolize letting go. For example, write down your grievances on a piece of paper, then burn it safely as a metaphor for releasing them. Alternatively, visit a body of water and toss stones into it, each stone representing a burden you're ready to cast away. These rituals serve as powerful reminders that you have the power to choose freedom over stagnation. 3. Surround yourself with positivity. After letting go of toxic influences, fill the void with positivity. Spend time with supportive friends, engage in hobbies that bring you joy, and immerse yourself in uplifting content like books, podcasts, or music. As motivational speaker Les Brown says, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." Every step you take toward positivity reinforces your decision to let go of negativity. 6. Building a life beyond resentment. Forgiveness and letting go aren't just about healing, they're about creating a life rooted in love, purpose, and fulfillment. Here's how embracing these practices transforms your life. 1. Greater emotional resilience. When you forgive and let go, you develop emotional resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity. You learn that setbacks don't define you, they refine you. 2. Deeper connections with others. By releasing grudges and toxic relationships, you make room for healthier, more meaningful connections. People are drawn to your authenticity and positivity, fostering a sense of belonging. 3. Alignment with your true self. Letting go allows you to reconnect with your core values and desires. Without the weight of resentment, you can pursue passions, dreams, and goals that align with your authentic self. As author Gabrielle Bernstein writes in The Universe Has Your Back, forgiveness is the fastest way to dismantle fear and return to love. When you choose forgiveness, you open the door to infinite possibilities. Closing thoughts for Chapter 5. To recap, forgiveness and letting go are essential steps toward reclaiming your peace and living a life of purpose. By acknowledging your pain, practicing forgiveness authentically, and releasing toxic influences, you create space for healing and growth. Remember, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, it means choosing freedom over bitterness. And letting go isn't about erasing the past, it's about embracing the future with hope and courage. Chapter 6. Focusing on the people who truly matter. In this chapter, we're shifting our focus to one of the most rewarding aspects of personal growth, investing your time and energy in the people who truly matter. As motivational speaker Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Surrounding yourself with supportive, uplifting individuals not only enhances your well-being but also propels you toward your goals. In this chapter, we'll explore the qualities of people worth investing in, how to nurture meaningful relationships, and why it's crucial to distance yourself from toxic influences. By the end of this chapter, you'll have actionable strategies to build a circle of positivity and purpose. Let's dive in. 1. Identifying people worth your time and energy. Not everyone deserves a place in your inner circle. The people who truly matter are those who add value to your life, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Here are 3 key qualities to look for. 1. Respect and support. The people who matter genuinely respect your boundaries, opinions, and individuality. They celebrate your successes without envy and offer support during challenges. For example, a true friend might say, "I'm so proud of you," when you achieve something significant, or, "I'm here for you," when you're struggling. As author Brené Brown notes, true belonging doesn't require you to change who you are, it requires you to be who you are. People worth your time accept you as you are while encouraging you to grow. 2. Reciprocity. Healthy relationships are built on mutual give and take. These individuals invest in you just as much as you invest in them. Whether it's listening attentively, offering help, or simply being present, they show up consistently. For instance, if you frequently lend an ear to someone's problems, they should reciprocate by being there for you when needed. One-sided relationships drain your energy and leave you feeling unappreciated. 3. Positivity and inspiration. People who inspire you to become the best version of yourself are invaluable. They challenge you to dream bigger, work harder, and embrace new opportunities. Their optimism is contagious, lifting your spirits even on tough days. Think about mentors, colleagues, or friends who've pushed you out of your comfort zone in a supportive way. These are the individuals who light up your path and remind you of your potential. By identifying these qualities, you can discern who deserves your attention and who doesn't. 2. Nurturing meaningful relationships. Once you've identified the people who matter, the next step is nurturing those relationships intentionally. Strong connections don't happen by accident. They require effort, vulnerability, and consistency. Here's how to cultivate deeper bonds. 1. Prioritize quality time. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to let relationships slide due to busy schedules. However, spending quality time together is essential for maintaining closeness. This could mean sharing a meal, taking a walk, or engaging in activities you both enjoy. For example, instead of scrolling through your phone during coffee dates, practice active listening. Ask thoughtful questions like, "What's been inspiring you lately?" Or, "How can I support you right now?" Showing genuine interest strengthens your connection. 2. Express gratitude regularly. Never underestimate the power of gratitude in relationships. Letting someone know you appreciate them fosters trust and deepens emotional intimacy. A simple, "Thank you for always being there for me," can go a long way. Research shows that expressing gratitude increases relationship satisfaction and encourages pro-social behavior. So, make it a habit to acknowledge the positive impact others have on your life. 3. Be vulnerable and authentic. Meaningful relationships thrive on authenticity. Share your joys, fears, and dreams openly. It invites others to do the same. Vulnerability builds trust and creates a safe space for honest communication. For instance, if you're facing a challenge, resist the urge to mask your struggles. Instead, confide in someone you trust. "I've been feeling overwhelmed lately, and I'd love your perspective." Opening up allows others to support you more effectively. 4. Celebrate each other's wins. Supportive relationships are marked by shared celebrations. Whether it's a promotion, a personal milestone, or a small victory, take time to cheer each other on. Celebrating wins together reinforces your bond and reminds you why these people are worth cherishing. As leadership expert John C. Maxwell says, "Teamwork makes the dream work." When you uplift each other, everyone succeeds. 3. Distancing yourself from toxic influences. While focusing on positive relationships, it's equally important to recognize when someone is draining your energy or holding you back. Toxic influences come in many forms: manipulative friends, overly critical family members, or coworkers who spread negativity. Here's how to handle these situations. 1. Recognize the signs of toxicity. Toxic individuals often exhibit behaviors such as constant complaining, gossiping, or undermining your confidence. They may also demand excessive attention or disregard your boundaries repeatedly. Ask yourself, do I feel energized or depleted after interacting with this person? If the answer is consistently the latter, it's a red flag. 2. Set clear boundaries. If cutting ties isn't immediately feasible, establish firm boundaries to protect your peace. For example, limit interactions with a toxic colleague to professional discussions only, or avoid engaging in negative conversations with a pessimistic friend. Remember, setting boundaries isn't rude, it's an act of self-preservation. As therapist Dr. Nicole Lepra explains, boundaries are a form of self-love. Protecting your energy ensures you have more to give to those who truly matter. 3. Gradually distance yourself. Sometimes, direct confrontation isn't possible or safe. In such cases, gradually reduce contact until the relationship fades naturally. For instance, stop initiating conversations, decline invitations politely, or redirect your focus to healthier connections. If questioned, respond neutrally. "I've been prioritizing my well-being lately, and I hope you understand." Most importantly, stay committed to your decision, even if guilt arises. 4. Replace negativity with positivity. As you distance yourself from toxic influences, fill the void with uplifting activities and relationships. Join clubs, attend workshops, or volunteer for causes you care about. These environments attract like-minded individuals who share your values. Surrounding yourself with positivity not only boosts your mood but also reinforces your decision to let go of toxicity. 4. Real-life example: building a circle of positivity. Let me share a story that illustrates the transformative power of focusing on the people who truly matter. A story about Daniel, a young entrepreneur who learned to prioritize meaningful relationships over superficial ones. Daniel had always been a social person, but he often found himself surrounded by acquaintances who drained his energy rather than uplifted him. Many of these so-called friends were quick to celebrate his successes when things were going well but disappeared, or worse, criticized him during challenging times. One particularly tough year, Daniel faced setbacks in his business and personal life. Instead of receiving support from his usual circle, he encountered judgment and unsolicited advice. Feeling isolated and discouraged, he realized it was time to reevaluate his relationships. Daniel began by identifying the people who genuinely cared about him. He thought about his childhood friend Sarah, who had always encouraged him during difficult times, his mentor Mark, who offered constructive feedback without sugarcoating, and his cousin Lisa, whose humor and optimism never failed to brighten his day. These individuals stood out because they respected his journey, celebrated his wins, and supported him unconditionally. Next, Daniel made a conscious effort to nurture these relationships. He scheduled regular catch-ups with Sarah, sought guidance from Mark whenever he felt stuck, and joined Lisa for weekend hikes to recharge. Over time, these connections became his anchor, providing stability and inspiration during turbulent periods. Simultaneously, Daniel distanced himself from toxic influences. For instance, he stopped attending gatherings where gossip dominated conversations and politely declined invitations from acquaintances who only reached out when they needed something. At first, this shift felt uncomfortable. He worried about being perceived as distant or aloof, but the relief he experienced outweighed any guilt. By focusing on the people who truly mattered, Daniel noticed a profound change in his outlook. His confidence grew, his stress levels decreased, and he felt more motivated to pursue his goals. Most importantly, he realized that quality trumps quantity when it comes to relationships. This story highlights several key lessons. 1. Identify your core circle. Surround yourself with people who respect, support, and inspire you. 2. Nurture those relationships intentionally. Invest time and effort into building deeper connections. 3. Distance yourself from negativity. Protect your energy by reducing contact with toxic influences. As Daniel discovered, focusing on the right people transforms not just your relationships, but also your entire life. 5. Creating a supportive inner circle. Building a supportive inner circle is one of the most impactful investments you can make in your personal growth. Here are 3 strategies to help you create and maintain this circle. 1. Be selective about who you let in. Your inner circle should consist of individuals who align with your values and aspirations. Don't feel pressured to include everyone. Quality matters far more than quantity. For example, if someone consistently dismisses your dreams or undermines your efforts, they don't belong in your inner circle. On the other hand, someone who challenges you to grow while offering unwavering support is invaluable. 2. Foster mutual growth. The best relationships are symbiotic. They benefit both parties equally. Encourage each other's growth by sharing resources, exchanging ideas, and holding each other accountable. For instance, if a friend expresses interest in learning a new skill, offer to join them in the process. Collaborative growth strengthens your bond and amplifies your achievements. 3. Communicate openly and honestly. Transparency is the foundation of trust. If something bothers you within the relationship, address it calmly and constructively. Similarly, be receptive to feedback from others. It shows that you value their perspective. Open communication prevents misunderstandings and ensures that your relationships remain strong and authentic. 6. The ripple effect of positive relationships. Focusing on the people who truly matter doesn't just benefit you. It creates a ripple effect that touches every aspect of your life. Here's how positive relationships transform your world. 1. Enhance well-being. Surrounding yourself with supportive individuals reduces stress, boosts happiness, and improves overall mental health. Studies show that strong social connections are linked to longer lifespans and greater resilience against adversity. As author Brené Brown reminds us, connection is why we're here. It is what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. Meaningful relationships fulfill our innate need for belonging and acceptance. 2. Increased motivation and productivity. When you're surrounded by people who believe in you, you're more likely to push beyond your limits and achieve your goals. Their encouragement fuels your determination, helping you overcome obstacles with confidence. For example, imagine working on a project while receiving consistent support and constructive feedback from your inner circle. Their belief in your abilities inspires you to deliver your best work. 3. A legacy of positivity. By fostering positive relationships, you set an example for others to follow. Your actions inspire those around you to prioritize authenticity, kindness, and mutual respect. Think about the impact you want to leave on the world. By cultivating a network of uplifting individuals, you contribute to a culture of positivity that extends far beyond your immediate circle. As leadership expert Simon Sinek says, leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. When you invest in the right people, you lead by example and create a legacy of connection and care. Closing thoughts for Chapter 6. To recap, focusing on the people who truly matter is one of the most powerful ways to enhance your life. By identifying supportive individuals, nurturing meaningful relationships, and distancing yourself from toxicity, you create a circle of positivity that uplifts and inspires you. Remember, your energy is precious. Invest it wisely. Surround yourself with people who see your worth, celebrate your growth, and walk alongside you on your journey. Chapter 7. Developing yourself to become stronger through challenges. In this chapter, we're diving into one of the most empowering aspects of personal growth, developing yourself to become stronger through challenges. As Helen Keller once said, although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. Life's difficulties are inevitable, but they're also opportunities for transformation and resilience. In this chapter, we'll explore how to learn from adversity, cultivate a positive mindset, and set meaningful goals that propel you forward. By the end of this chapter, you'll have actionable strategies to turn obstacles into stepping stones toward success. Let's begin. 1. Learning from adversity. Adversity is often seen as something to avoid or endure, but it holds immense potential for growth. Every challenge you face teaches you valuable lessons about yourself, your strengths, and your ability to adapt. Here's how to extract wisdom from difficult experiences. 1. Shift your perspective. Instead of viewing adversity as punishment or failure, reframe it as a teacher. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How has it made me stronger or more resilient? For example, if you lose a job unexpectedly, instead of dwelling on the disappointment, consider what skills you gained during your time there and how you can apply them in future roles. This mindset shift transforms setbacks into opportunities for reinvention. As author Ryan Holiday writes in The Obstacle is the Way, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you embrace challenges as part of your journey, you unlock hidden strengths. 2. Reflect on past triumphs. Think back to previous hardships you've overcome. How did you manage to persevere? What qualities helped you succeed? Reminding yourself of past victories reinforces your belief in your ability to handle whatever comes next. For instance, if you've successfully navigated financial struggles, relationship conflicts, or health issues, acknowledge the courage and determination it took to get through those times. These memories serve as proof that you're capable of overcoming current challenges too. 3. Seek growth opportunities. Every challenge presents an opportunity to develop new skills, expand your knowledge, or deepen your emotional intelligence. Whether it's learning patience during a frustrating project or honing problem-solving abilities under pressure, adversity equips you with tools you wouldn't have acquired otherwise. As motivational speaker Les Brown says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Each step you take in the face of adversity brings you closer to greatness. 2. Cultivating a positive mindset. A positive mindset doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing hope over despair, even when circumstances feel overwhelming. Here's how to cultivate positivity in the midst of challenges. 1. Practice gratitude daily. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. Even during tough times, there are always things to be thankful for: a supportive friend, a roof over your head, or simply the fact that you're still standing. Start each day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Over time, this practice rewires your brain to notice and appreciate the good, no matter how small. Research shows that gratitude reduces stress, increases happiness, and improves overall well-being. As psychologist Robert Emmons explains, grateful people experience higher levels of positive emotions such as joy, enthusiasm, love, happiness, and optimism. 2. Reframe negative thoughts. When faced with adversity, it's easy to fall into patterns of negative thinking. This will never work, I'm not good enough. Or, why does this always happen to me? Challenge these thoughts by reframing them in a more constructive light. For example, replace "I'll never get through this" with "This is hard, but I've handled tough situations before, and I can do it again." Over time, this habit builds mental resilience and fosters a solution-oriented mindset. 3. Surround yourself with positivity. Your environment plays a significant role in shaping your mindset. Fill your space with uplifting books, podcasts, music, and artwork. Spend time with people who radiate optimism and inspire you to see the bright side of life. If you find yourself surrounded by negativity, whether from toxic relationships or pessimistic media, take steps to distance yourself. Protecting your mental space ensures that positivity can flourish. As leadership expert John Maxwell advises, your attitude determines your direction. A positive mindset sets the stage for overcoming challenges and achieving your goals. 3. Setting meaningful goals for growth. Challenges often arise because we're stretching ourselves beyond our comfort zones, and that's a good thing. To navigate adversity effectively, it's essential to set clear, meaningful goals that guide your efforts and keep you motivated. Here's how to do it. 1. Define your vision. Start by envisioning the person you want to become and the life you want to create. What values do you want to embody? What achievements would bring you fulfillment? Having a clear vision gives you a sense of purpose and direction. For example, if you aspire to build a successful career while maintaining work-life balance, define specific milestones that align with that vision, such as completing a certification program, networking with industry leaders, or scheduling regular self-care days. 2. Break goals into manageable steps. Big dreams can feel overwhelming if you try to tackle them all at once. Instead, break them down into smaller, actionable steps. For instance, if your goal is to write a book, start by outlining chapters, setting daily word count targets, and dedicating specific hours to writing. Breaking goals into bite-sized pieces makes them less intimidating and provides a roadmap for steady progress. 3. Celebrate small wins along the way. Progress isn't always linear, and celebrating small victories keeps you motivated during challenging times. Did you complete a task you'd been procrastinating on? Treat yourself to something special. Did you receive positive feedback on a project? Take a moment to savor the accomplishment. Acknowledging incremental progress reinforces your commitment and reminds you that every step counts. 4. Stay flexible and adaptable. Life rarely goes according to plan, so it's important to remain flexible when pursuing your goals. If an unexpected obstacle arises, adjust your approach without losing sight of your ultimate objective. For example, if a business idea doesn't pan out as expected, analyze what went wrong, pivot your strategy, and try again. Adaptability ensures that setbacks don't derail your momentum. As entrepreneur Tony Robbins famously said, "Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible." By setting meaningful goals, you transform abstract aspirations into tangible realities. 4. Real-life example, turning setbacks into success. Let me share a story that illustrates the power of developing yourself through challenges. A story about Maya, a young woman who transformed her life after facing significant adversity. Maya had always dreamed of becoming an entrepreneur, but her journey was anything but smooth. After quitting her stable job to launch her own online business, she quickly realized how difficult it was to attract customers and generate revenue. For months, she poured her savings into marketing campaigns that yielded little return. Doubts began creeping in, and she questioned whether she'd made the right decision. One particularly tough day, after receiving yet another rejection email from a potential client, Maya felt defeated. But instead of giving up, she decided to reevaluate her approach. She enrolled in a digital marketing course to sharpen her skills, joined networking groups to connect with other entrepreneurs, and started journaling to reflect on her progress and setbacks. Through these efforts, Maya discovered several key insights. Her initial strategy focused too heavily on selling rather than building genuine relationships with her audience. She needed to differentiate herself by highlighting her unique strengths and expertise. Persistence was just as important as talent. Every successful entrepreneur she admired had faced failures before achieving breakthroughs. Armed with this knowledge, Maya revamped her business model. She began creating valuable content that addressed her audience's pain points, offered free workshops to establish credibility, and collaborated with influencers in her niche. Slowly but surely, her efforts paid off. Within a year, her business grew exponentially, and she became a sought-after expert in her field. This story highlights several key lessons. 1. Adversity reveals hidden opportunities. By embracing her struggles, Maya uncovered areas for improvement and innovation. 2. Continuous learning fuels growth. Investing in education and self-reflection equipped Maya with the tools she needed to succeed. 3. Resilience is key. Staying committed to her vision despite setbacks ultimately led to her success. As Maya discovered, challenges are not roadblocks, they're stepping stones to greatness. 5. Building resilience through daily habits. Resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, isn't something you're born with, it's a skill you develop through consistent practice. Here are 3 daily habits that strengthen your resilience. 1. Practice mindfulness and self-care. Mindfulness helps you stay grounded in the present moment, reducing anxiety about the future or regrets about the past. Incorporate practices like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or yoga into your routine to cultivate inner calm. Self-care is equally important. Ensure you're getting enough sleep, eating nutritious meals, and engaging in activities that bring you joy. Taking care of your physical and mental health equips you to face challenges with clarity and strength. 2. Develop a growth-oriented routine. Create a daily schedule that includes time for personal development, whether it's reading inspiring books, listening to educational podcasts, or working on passion projects. Surrounding yourself with growth-oriented stimuli keeps you motivated and focused on long-term goals. For example, dedicate 30 minutes each morning to learning something new or reflecting on your progress. These small investments compound over time, shaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. 3. Build a support system. Even the most resilient individuals need support during tough times. Lean on your inner circle for encouragement, advice, and accountability. Share your struggles openly. It not only strengthens your relationships but also reminds you that you're not alone. As author Brené Brown notes, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable fosters deeper connections and builds collective resilience. 6. Embracing challenges as opportunities for transformation. Challenges are inevitable, but they're also catalysts for transformation. When you embrace adversity with courage and determination, you unlock your full potential. Here's how challenges shape your journey. 1. They reveal your strengths. Difficult situations force you to tap into resources you didn't know you had. Whether it's patience, perseverance, or problem-solving skills, challenges highlight qualities that make you uniquely capable of overcoming obstacles. 2. They foster empathy and compassion. Experiencing hardship gives you a deeper understanding of others' struggles. This empathy allows you to connect with people on a more profound level, strengthening your relationships and leadership abilities. 3. They propel personal growth. Every challenge pushes you out of your comfort zone, forcing you to grow in ways you wouldn't have otherwise. Overcoming adversity builds confidence, expands your perspective, and prepares you for greater achievements. As philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche famously said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." Each trial you endure adds layers of wisdom and resilience to your character. Closing thoughts for Chapter 7. To recap, developing yourself to become stronger through challenges involves learning from adversity, cultivating a positive mindset, and setting meaningful goals. By embracing obstacles as opportunities for growth, you transform setbacks into stepping stones towards success. Remember, resilience isn't built overnight. It's forged through consistent effort and unwavering belief in your potential. As you continue on your journey, trust that every challenge you face is shaping you into the person you're meant to become. Chapter 8. Handling Conflicts Wisely. In this chapter, we're exploring one of the most critical skills for navigating life's challenges: handling conflicts wisely. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, "An eye for an eye will only make the whole world blind." Conflict is inevitable, but how you respond determines whether it leads to resolution or further discord. In this chapter, we'll discuss fundamental principles for resolving disputes, strategies for effective negotiation, and how to prevent future conflicts. By the end of this chapter, you'll have practical tools to approach disagreements with grace, empathy, and confidence. Let's dive in. 1. Fundamental principles for resolving disputes. Conflicts arise when different perspectives, needs, or values collide. While they can be uncomfortable, they also present opportunities for growth and deeper understanding, if handled wisely. Here are 3 foundational principles to guide you through disputes. 1. Stay calm and objective. Emotions often escalate conflicts, turning minor disagreements into major battles. When tensions rise, take a deep breath and pause before responding. This gives you time to collect your thoughts and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For example, if someone raises their voice during an argument, resist the urge to match their energy. Instead, say calmly, "I understand this is important to both of us. Let's work together to find a solution." Your composure sets the tone for productive dialogue. As mindfulness expert John Kabat-Zinn advises, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Managing your emotions allows you to navigate conflicts with clarity and poise. 2. Focus on interests, not positions. People often enter conflicts entrenched in rigid positions, what they want versus what the other person wants. Instead of fixating on these demands, dig deeper to uncover underlying interests. What needs or values are driving each side? For instance, imagine 2 colleagues arguing over who should lead a project. One insists on taking charge because they believe it's essential for their career growth, while the other feels equally invested. By focusing on their shared interest, delivering a successful outcome, they might agree to co-lead or divide responsibilities based on strengths. This principle, popularized by negotiation experts Roger Fisher and William Ury in Getting to Yes, shifts the conversation from competition to collaboration. 3. Seek mutual benefit. The best resolutions satisfy both parties' needs, creating win-win outcomes. Approach conflicts with a mindset of partnership rather than opposition. Ask yourself, how can we both walk away feeling heard and respected? For example, if a roommate consistently leaves dishes unwashed despite reminders, instead of accusing them of laziness, propose a compromise. Let's create a cleaning schedule that works for both of us. Framing solutions as collaborative efforts fosters goodwill and minimizes resistance. 2. Strategies for effective negotiation. Negotiation is a powerful tool for resolving conflicts constructively. Whether you're addressing workplace disagreements, family tensions, or social misunderstandings, these strategies will help you negotiate effectively. 1. Listen actively and empathetically. Effective negotiation begins with listening, not just to the words being spoken but to the emotions and motivations behind them. Show genuine interest by maintaining eye contact, nodding occasionally, and paraphrasing their points to confirm understanding. For example, if a friend expresses frustration about your lack of availability, respond with, It sounds like you feel I haven't been prioritizing our friendship. Is that right? Active listening builds trust and opens the door for mutual problem solving. 2. Use I statements to express your perspective. When sharing your side of the story, use I statements to avoid sounding accusatory. For instance, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I feel unheard when my input isn't acknowledged." This approach focuses on your experience rather than blaming the other person, reducing defensiveness and encouraging constructive dialogue. 3. Brainstorm solutions together. Rather than presenting ultimatums, invite the other party to collaborate on finding solutions. Say, "Let's brainstorm some options that could work for both of us." This inclusive approach empowers everyone involved and increases the likelihood of reaching a mutually agreeable outcome. For example, if a team member misses deadlines repeatedly, suggest, "How about we break tasks into smaller milestones with check-ins along the way? Would that help keep us aligned?" Offering alternatives demonstrates flexibility and goodwill. 4. Know when to compromise and when to stand firm. While compromise is often necessary, there are times when standing firm on non-negotiables is essential. For instance, if someone violates your core values or repeatedly disrespects your boundaries, compromising may send the message that such behavior is acceptable. Before entering negotiations, clarify your priorities. Which aspects are flexible, and which are deal breakers? Knowing your limits ensures that you advocate for yourself without sacrificing integrity. 3. Preventing future conflicts. While resolving current disputes is crucial, preventing future conflicts is equally important. Proactive measures minimize misunderstandings and foster harmonious relationships. Here's how to safeguard against recurring issues. 1. Establish clear expectations early on. Many conflicts stem from unspoken assumptions or unclear roles. Whether it's in personal relationships, professional settings, or community interactions, setting expectations up front reduces ambiguity. For example, at the start of a group project, outline each member's responsibilities and deadlines. Similarly, in friendships or romantic relationships, discuss boundaries and preferences openly to avoid surprises later. 2. Practice regular check-ins. Periodic communication helps address potential issues before they escalate. Schedule regular check-ins with colleagues, friends, or family members to ensure everyone feels heard and supported. For instance, a manager might hold weekly meetings to review progress and address concerns. In personal relationships, asking, "Is there anything bothering you that we should talk about?" creates space for open dialogue. 3. Foster a culture of respect and empathy. Respectful communication lays the groundwork for conflict-free interactions. Encourage active listening, validate others' feelings, and model kindness in all your dealings. For example, if someone shares an idea you disagree with, respond with curiosity rather than criticism. "That's an interesting perspective. Can you tell me more about why you think that?" Demonstrating empathy invites reciprocity and strengthens connections. 4. Learn from past conflicts. Reflect on previous disputes to identify patterns or triggers. What caused the conflict? How was it resolved, or not resolved? Use these insights to anticipate and mitigate similar situations in the future. For instance, if miscommunication frequently leads to arguments, consider adopting clearer methods of expression, such as written summaries or follow-up emails after verbal discussions. Learning from experience transforms past mistakes into valuable lessons. 4. Real-life example, turning conflict into collaboration. Let me share a story that demonstrates the power of handling conflicts wisely. A story about James and his business partner, Lisa. James and Lisa had co-founded a startup together, but as their company grew, tensions began to rise. James was detail-oriented and preferred meticulous planning, while Lisa thrived on spontaneity and quick decision-making. Their differing approaches led to frequent clashes, with each accusing the other of jeopardizing the company's success. One particularly heated argument occurred during a board meeting when James criticized Lisa for launching a marketing campaign without consulting him first. Lisa retaliated by accusing James of micromanaging and stifling innovation. The room fell silent as colleagues exchanged uneasy glances. Realizing the situation was spiraling out of control, James suggested they take a break and reconvene later. During this pause, both reflected on their frustrations and realized that their conflict stemmed not from malice but from misaligned expectations. When they resumed the discussion, James began by acknowledging Lisa's strengths. "Lisa, your ability to think outside the box has been instrumental in our growth. I admire your creativity." He then expressed his concerns calmly. "At the same time, I feel anxious when major decisions are made without my input because it affects areas I oversee." Lisa responded similarly, validating James' perspective. "I understand why you'd feel that way. My intention wasn't to exclude you, I just wanted to act quickly before losing momentum." Together, they brainstormed a solution. For high-stakes decisions, they would hold brief alignment meetings to ensure both were on the same page. For smaller initiatives, Lisa could proceed independently, provided she kept James informed afterward. This compromise not only resolved their immediate dispute but also strengthened their partnership. By approaching the conflict with empathy and a willingness to collaborate, James and Lisa turned a potential rupture into an opportunity for growth. This story highlights several key lessons. 1. Pausing prevents escalation. Taking a break allowed emotions to settle, paving the way for rational dialogue. 2. Validation fosters understanding. Acknowledging each other's perspectives created a foundation of mutual respect. 3. Collaboration builds trust. Working together to find solutions reinforced their commitment to shared goals. As James and Lisa discovered, conflicts aren't inherently destructive. They're opportunities to deepen relationships and improve processes. 5. Building emotional intelligence for conflict resolution. Emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as those of others, is a cornerstone of effective conflict resolution. Here's how to develop this vital skill. 1. Practice self-awareness. Pay attention to your emotional triggers and how they influence your behavior. For example, do you become defensive when criticized? Do you shut down during heated discussions? Understanding these patterns allows you to respond more intentionally. Journaling can be a helpful tool for self-reflection. After a conflict, write down what triggered your emotions and how you handled them. Over time, you'll notice recurring themes and areas for improvement. 2. Cultivate empathy. Empathy involves putting yourself in someone else's shoes and seeing the world through their eyes. When resolving conflicts, ask yourself, what might they be feeling? What unmet needs or fears could be driving their behavior? For instance, if a coworker reacts angrily to constructive feedback, consider whether they might be feeling insecure or overwhelmed. Approaching the situation with compassion diffuses tension and encourages openness. 3. Develop assertiveness without aggression. Assertiveness means expressing your needs and opinions clearly while respecting others' rights to do the same. It's a delicate balance between passivity and aggression. To practice assertiveness, use confident body language, maintain steady eye contact, and speak in a calm, firm tone. For example, instead of saying, "You're wrong," try, "Here's another perspective I'd like to share." This approach communicates confidence without alienating others. As psychologist Daniel Goleman notes in Emotional Intelligence, the ability to monitor one's own and others' feelings and emotions, to discriminate among them, and to use this information to guide one's thinking and actions, defines emotional intelligence. By honing this skill, you equip yourself to navigate conflicts with wisdom and grace. 6. Long-term benefits of wise conflict management. Handling conflicts wisely doesn't just resolve immediate issues, it creates lasting benefits for your personal and professional life. Here's how mastering this skill transforms your journey. 1. Stronger relationships. When conflicts are addressed constructively, they strengthen bonds rather than weaken them. People appreciate being heard and respected, even during disagreements. Over time, this fosters deeper trust and collaboration. For example, couples who navigate arguments with empathy and compromise report higher levels of satisfaction and longevity in their relationships. Similarly, teams that resolve disputes effectively achieve better outcomes and morale. 2. Enhance problem-solving skills. Conflict resolution sharpens your critical thinking and problem-solving abilities. Each challenge you overcome equips you with tools and strategies to tackle future obstacles more efficiently. As leadership expert John C. Maxwell explains, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." By modeling wise conflict management, you inspire others to adopt similar practices, creating a culture of accountability and innovation. 3. Greater inner peace. When you handle conflicts with grace and confidence, you reduce stress and anxiety. Knowing that you have the skills to navigate disagreements empowers you to face challenges without fear or hesitation. This inner peace radiates outward, influencing every aspect of your life. You become more resilient, adaptable, and optimistic, qualities that attract positivity and abundance. As author Don Miguel Ruiz writes in The Four Agreements, "Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. It is because of themselves." By detaching emotionally and focusing on solutions, you cultivate serenity even amidst chaos. Closing thoughts for Chapter 8. To recap, handling conflicts wisely requires staying calm, focusing on mutual benefit, and fostering open communication. By adopting effective negotiation strategies and preventing future disputes, you create harmony in your relationships and unlock new opportunities for growth. Remember, conflicts are not enemies, they're teachers. Each challenge you face reveals your strength, resilience, and capacity for transformation. As you continue on your journey, embrace disagreements as stepping stones toward greater wisdom and connection. Chapter 9. Creating a Life of Peace, Happiness, and Success. In this chapter, we're focusing on the ultimate goal of our journey, creating a life filled with peace, happiness, and success. As the Dalai Lama wisely said, "Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions." True fulfillment isn't found in external achievements alone, it's cultivated through intentional living, meaningful connections, and a deep sense of purpose. We'll explore how to build a peaceful environment, maintain balance in all areas of life, and pursue long-term goals that align with your values. By the end of this chapter, you'll have actionable steps to design a life that reflects your highest aspirations. Let's dive in. 1. Building a peaceful environment. Your surroundings play a significant role in shaping your mood, energy, and overall well-being. A peaceful environment fosters calmness, creativity, and clarity, essential ingredients for happiness and success. Here's how to create spaces that nurture your soul. 1. Declutter your physical space. Clutter creates chaos, not just in your home or workspace but also in your mind. Start by organizing your belongings and letting go of items you no longer need or love. Donate clothes you haven't worn in years, clear out old papers, and tidy up surfaces. A clean, organized space signals order and intentionality, helping you feel more focused and relaxed. As author Marie Kondo advises in The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, keep only those things that speak to your heart. Surround yourself with objects that bring joy and inspiration. 2. Incorporate elements of nature. Nature has a calming effect on the human psyche. Bring elements of the outdoors inside by adding plants, natural light, or earthy tones to your decor. If possible, spend time outdoors daily, whether it's walking in a park, gardening, or simply sitting under a tree. Studies show that exposure to nature reduces stress, boosts mood, and enhances cognitive function. Even small touches, like fresh flowers or a small indoor fountain, can make a big difference in creating tranquility. 3. Minimize noise and distractions. Constant noise, from traffic, electronics, or even chatty coworkers, can drain your energy and disrupt your focus. Use noise-canceling headphones, play soothing music, or designate quiet hours to protect your mental space. At home, establish boundaries around technology use. For example, set aside device-free times during meals or before bed to ensure uninterrupted moments of peace. Silence notifications and prioritize activities that promote mindfulness, such as reading or meditating. As environmental psychologist Sally Augustine explains, spaces influence how we think, feel, and behave. By designing a serene environment, you lay the foundation for lasting peace and contentment. 2. Maintaining balance between work and life. Achieving balance between work and personal life is essential for sustaining happiness and preventing burnout. Many people fall into the trap of overworking themselves, believing that success requires sacrificing leisure and relationships. However, true success encompasses all aspects of life. Here's how to strike a healthy equilibrium. 1. Set clear boundaries around work hours. One of the most effective ways to maintain balance is by defining when work begins and ends. Avoid checking emails or taking calls outside designated hours unless absolutely necessary. Communicate these boundaries to colleagues, clients, and family members so they understand and respect your schedule. For example, if you work remotely, create a dedicated workspace and clock out at a consistent time each day. This separation reinforces the distinction between professional responsibilities and personal time. 2. Prioritize self-care. Self-care isn't selfish. It's essential for maintaining physical, emotional, and mental health. Make time for activities that recharge you, whether it's exercising, journaling, or spending quality time with loved ones. Schedule self-care routines just as you would meetings or deadlines. For instance, block off an hour each evening for yoga or meditation, or plan weekly date nights with your partner. Treating self-care as non-negotiable ensures you stay grounded and energized. 3. Learn to say no without guilt. Overcommitting is a common barrier to work-life balance. Practice saying no to tasks or obligations that don't align with your priorities. Remember, every yes to something unimportant is a no to something meaningful. For example, if a colleague asks you to take on an extra project when you're already overwhelmed, respond politely but firmly. I appreciate the opportunity, but I need to focus on my current workload right now. Setting limits protects your time and allows you to invest in what truly matters. 4. Embrace flexibility. While structure is important, rigid schedules can sometimes lead to frustration. Be open to adjusting your plans based on changing circumstances. For instance, if a family member needs support during a crisis, it's okay to temporarily shift your focus away from work. Flexibility doesn't mean abandoning your goals, it means adapting them to fit the realities of life. As leadership expert Stephen Covey reminds us, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. 3. Pursuing long-term goals aligned with your values. Success isn't defined by societal standards, it's shaped by your unique vision of fulfillment. To create a life of meaning and purpose, it's crucial to pursue goals that resonate with your core values. Here's how to align your ambitions with your authentic self. 1. Identify your core values. Start by reflecting on what truly matters to you. Is it family, creativity, financial independence, community service, or personal growth? Write down your top 5 values and consider how they influence your decisions. For example, if one of your core values is lifelong learning, you might prioritize career opportunities that offer continuous education or skill development. Aligning your choices with your values ensures that your efforts feel purposeful and rewarding. 2. Break down big dreams into actionable steps. Long-term goals can feel overwhelming if approached without a plan. Divide them into smaller milestones that are easier to achieve. For instance, if your dream is to write a book, start by outlining chapters, setting daily word count targets, and scheduling writing sessions. Tracking progress keeps you motivated and provides a sense of accomplishment along the way. Celebrate each milestone, no matter how small. It reinforces your commitment and builds momentum. 3. Stay resilient in the face of challenges. Pursuing long-term goals inevitably involves setbacks. Instead of viewing obstacles as failures, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. Adjust your strategies, seek feedback, and remain steadfast in your vision. For example, if a business venture doesn't yield immediate results, analyze what went wrong, pivot your approach, and try again. Persistence is often the difference between giving up and achieving greatness. 4. Surround yourself with supportive people. The company you keep influences your mindset and motivation. Build a network of mentors, peers, and friends who share your values and encourage your aspirations. Share your goals openly. It invites accountability and support. For instance, join mastermind groups, attend industry events, or participate in online communities related to your field. Collaborating with like-minded individuals amplifies your efforts and accelerates your progress. As motivational speaker Zig Ziglar famously said, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." Every step you take toward your dreams brings you closer to the life you envision. 4. Real-life example, finding balance and purpose. Let me share a story that illustrates the transformative power of creating a life of peace, happiness, and success. A story about Rachel, a marketing executive who learned to prioritize her well-being while pursuing her dreams. Rachel had always been driven and ambitious, climbing the corporate ladder with relentless determination. However, her relentless work ethic came at a cost. She rarely took vacations, worked late nights consistently, and neglected hobbies and relationships outside of her career. Over time, she began feeling burned out, disconnected, and unfulfilled despite her professional achievements. One day, after collapsing from exhaustion during a high-stakes presentation, Rachel realized something needed to change. She decided to take a sabbatical to reassess her priorities and rediscover what truly mattered to her. During this period, she reflected on her core values and identified 3 key areas she wanted to focus on: family, creativity, and personal growth. With renewed clarity, Rachel implemented several changes. She negotiated flexible working hours with her employer, allowing her to spend more time with her children and pursue creative projects like painting. She started practicing mindfulness meditation daily, which helped her manage stress and stay present in the moment. She joined a local art club, where she connected with like-minded individuals who inspired her to explore new passions. Over time, these adjustments transformed Rachel's life. She returned to work with a fresh perspective, delegating tasks more effectively and setting firm boundaries around her time. Her newfound balance not only improved her mental health but also enhanced her performance at work. She became more innovative, collaborative, and resilient. This story highlights several key lessons. 1. Balance is non-negotiable. Prioritizing self-care and personal fulfillment doesn't hinder success, it enhances it. 2. Values guide decisions. Aligning your actions with your core values creates a sense of purpose and authenticity. 3. Small changes yield big results. Incremental adjustments, like setting boundaries or exploring hobbies, can dramatically improve your quality of life. As Rachel discovered, true success isn't about achieving perfection, it's about living intentionally and embracing the journey. 5. Cultivating gratitude and mindfulness daily. Gratitude and mindfulness are 2 powerful practices that sustain peace, happiness, and success over the long term. Here's how to incorporate them into your daily routine. 1. Start a gratitude journal. Each morning or evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be monumental. Perhaps it's a kind gesture from a stranger, a delicious meal, or simply waking up healthy. Research shows that gratitude rewires your brain to focus on positivity, reducing stress and increasing overall happiness. Over time, this practice shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. 2. Practice mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment without judgment. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, and observing your thoughts without attachment. Apps like Headspace or Calm can guide you through beginner-friendly exercises. Regular mindfulness practice reduces anxiety, improves concentration, and fosters emotional resilience. 3. Express appreciation to others. Take time to acknowledge the people who contribute to your happiness and success. Whether it's thanking a colleague for their support or expressing love to a family member, acts of appreciation strengthen bonds and create a ripple effect of positivity. As author Melody Beattie writes in the language of letting go, gratitude turns what we have into enough. By cultivating gratitude and mindfulness, you transform ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings. 6. The ripple effect of living intentionally. When you commit to creating a life of peace, happiness, and success, the benefits extend far beyond yourself. They ripple outward, touching everyone around you. Here's how intentional living impacts your world. 1. Inspiring others. Your choices inspire those around you to reflect on their own lives. For example, if you prioritize work-life balance, colleagues may feel empowered to set similar boundaries. If you radiate positivity and gratitude, friends and family will naturally gravitate toward your energy. Leadership expert John Maxwell says, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." By modeling intentional living, you become a beacon of hope and possibility for others. 2. Strengthening communities. When individuals live authentically and generously, entire communities thrive. Volunteering, mentoring, or simply offering kindness to strangers creates a culture of compassion and collaboration. For instance, imagine starting a neighborhood book club or organizing community cleanup events. These small initiatives foster connection and collective well-being, proving that individual actions can spark widespread change. 3. Leaving a legacy of fulfillment. Ultimately, living intentionally allows you to leave behind a legacy of purpose and joy. Your contributions, whether through relationships, careers, or passions, shape the world in meaningful ways. As motivational speaker Les Brown reminds us, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars." By striving for greatness while staying grounded in your values, you ensure that your impact endures long after you're gone. To recap, creating a life of peace, happiness, and success requires intentional effort across all areas of life. By building a peaceful environment, maintaining balance, and pursuing goals aligned with your values, you design a life that reflects your highest aspirations. Remember, fulfillment isn't a destination, it's a journey. Each choice you make, no matter how small, shapes the masterpiece of your existence. As you move forward, embrace every challenge as an opportunity to grow and every victory as a reminder of your potential. In the next, and final, chapter, we'll summarize the key lessons from this audiobook and offer words of encouragement to help you apply these principles in your daily life. Stay tuned, because the journey concludes with wisdom and inspiration. Chapter 10, Summary and Final Words of Encouragement. As we reach the conclusion of this audiobook, let's take a moment to reflect on the transformative lessons we've explored together. These 10 ways to handle people who don't respect you are not just strategies. They're stepping stones toward a life of peace, confidence, and fulfillment. Here's a quick recap of the key insights. 1. Recognizing disrespectful behavior. Understanding the signs of disrespect is the first step toward addressing it effectively. By identifying patterns and assessing their impact, you reclaim your power. 2. Building self-esteem and confidence. Recognizing your worth, stopping comparisons, and nurturing positive habits empower you to stand firm in the face of adversity. 3. Setting clear boundaries. Establishing and enforcing boundaries protects your time, energy, and emotional well-being while fostering mutual respect. 4. Mastering effective communication. Active listening, assertive expression, and managing difficult reactions enable you to navigate conflicts with grace and clarity. 5. Practicing forgiveness and letting go. Releasing resentment and toxic influences liberates you from the past, creating space for healing and growth. 6. Focusing on the people who matter. Investing in supportive, uplifting relationships enriches your life and propels you toward your goals. 7. Developing yourself through challenges. Embracing adversity as a teacher strengthens your resilience, mindset, and ability to achieve greatness. 8. Handling conflicts wisely. Staying calm, seeking mutual benefit, and preventing future disputes ensure harmony in your interactions. 9. Creating a life of peace, happiness, and success. Building a peaceful environment, maintaining balance, and pursuing meaningful goals align your life with your highest aspirations. Each chapter has equipped you with practical tools to transform challenges into opportunities and relationships into sources of joy. Together, these lessons form a roadmap for living authentically and intentionally. Dear listeners, I want to leave you with a heartfelt message of encouragement. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process fueled by consistent effort and unwavering belief in yourself. As you apply these principles, remember that every small step counts. When faced with disrespect, remind yourself of your inherent worth. When setting boundaries, trust that protecting your peace is an act of self-love. When navigating conflicts, Approach them with empathy and a solution-oriented mindset. And when pursuing your dreams, stay true to your values and celebrate each milestone along the way. You are stronger than you think, wiser than you realize, and more capable than you imagine. The journey may have its ups and downs, but every challenge you overcome adds depth and richness to your story. As author Maya Angelou once said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." You now have the knowledge and tools to do better, to create a life where respect, love, and fulfillment abound. Now is the time to take action. Reflect on the areas of your life where you can implement these lessons. Start small, perhaps by setting one boundary, practicing gratitude daily, or reaching out to someone who truly matters. Over time, these actions will compound, transforming your life in profound ways. I encourage you to revisit this audiobook whenever you need guidance or inspiration. Share it with friends, family, or colleagues who might benefit from its wisdom. Together, we can spread the message of empowerment and positivity. Before we part ways, I want to express my deepest gratitude for joining me on this journey. Your willingness to invest in your growth and well-being is a testament to your strength and determination. Thank you for listening, engaging, and committing to becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, you are worthy of respect, love, and success, and you have everything within you to achieve it. Until next time, keep shining your light and inspiring those around you. Stay wise, stay strong, and embrace the beauty of your journey.